Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. Today we're going to be working on a Honda TRX200 SX, one of my favorite machines. This particular one is a 1988 vintage. And I want to do it for two reasons. This thing's been abandoned and sitting up here for the last couple of years. So I want to get it running again. Kind of evaluate what kind of situation it's in. I bought it for a purpose. I was going to build kind of a Mad Max machine out of it, and I got it running and I never did anything with it. So let's get it back to where it was and make a decision from there. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is I really haven't been up here in the garage since the little situation with heart failure. And now I want to get up here. It's been about a year and kind of get this place moving and rolling again. You could see a few things have joined the mess up here, but I really haven't worked out of this particular shop in quite a while. I built this garage as kind of the end all and be all of all garages. Then I filled it with stuff, and I built that carport as a way of taking stuff out of here and putting it in there and having a shop. But then I filled that up with stuff. So much for hoarding mayhem. Anyway, let's get started. Wow, this thing is a wreck. I don't think I could assume anything on it. I think we got to start right in the beginning, right? OCD. Make sure it's got oil in it. Make sure it has compression. It has a key in it, which is a good sign. I don't know why I stopped working on this thing. So we have compression. Right. I think I've turned it around a couple of times. By the way, what I'm doing is a little dangerous. A lot of times there's sharp edges there. So we have compression. Let's see what the oil looks like. Now, as I recall, this machine came from Central New York. It's got some clean oil in it. I think this thing was a chain chucker, and I had to patch the case. Actually, it feels like a nice new case. Maybe I put a new case on it. That's what I'm remembering. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's see what it takes to get it running. It's not wearing a carburetor. At least I stuffed a plastic bag in there, but I stuffed it in so far. Probably water still got in. Anyway, let's see if we can't get this puppy running again. It turns out, no oil in this puppy. I'm beginning to think I didn't get it started. Yummy lube. Got to use the right stuff in these things. You can't just put anything in it. If you do, the clutch doesn't get lubricated properly, and depending on the additive, sometimes the clutch sticks and sometimes it slips. So use the right oil. You know, the expensive stuff. 30 bucks, 35 bucks. Anyway, that's a half a quart. Hopefully that brought us somewhere where I could read it. So jump pack on. By the way, the positive one is the one that goes on the starting relay. So you always want to be sure about that. I have one of the all-terrain vehicles in the Horde that they hooked up the battery backwards, and God, did they do a lot of damage. I'm still fighting my way through that. Anyway, battery's all hooked up, and jump pack is on, and we got squat. You know what? We'll do we'll jump the starter. So before we hit the key, right, remember I mentioned this was stuffed in there. So let's get that out. There we are, and that's hooked up. So well, it sounds like it has some compression. It's not wearing a carburetor. You know what, let's do a quick compression test just to see where it's at. Because when they don't start, I get all surprised and do a compression test and have to mess with the carburetor. This way, no carb, compression test is easy. So this is a dry compression. Around 100, give or take, so this thing should fire right up. So you can see my portable gas tank is hooked up to the jump pack, right where you want it to be. Gasoline and electricity. You can see the jump pack's all hooked up. This is my portable CDI unit, 12 volt portable CDI. And this blue wire comes from the hot side of the pulse generator, and the green wire comes from the cold side of the pulse generator. And you can see ground right here. I have a 12 volt CDI in there, which is obviously very handy. And I have a meter right here. I don't know if you can see that 12.1 spark coil that I gotta put on the spark plug. Right, and so I get the pulse from the engine. Everything else is self-contained. So it's just a matter of setting up the camera, and hopefully you guys will hear this thing running in a second. We've been having crazy weather. It's either, you know, crazy hot or hurricane with crazy wind. It's really turned my place into a bit of a jungle here. So as I'm trying to get control of it, I got to get control of the jungle too. Anyway, let me go get a tripod. I think you guys could see everything you want to see. One time I didn't have the camera set up for the first start, and the thing caught fire, and that would have been cool to get on video. 12 volt is on. Let's see what happens. Here, let me pick up the idle a little more. I wanted to bring the camera a little closer so that you guys can hear the valves and all. So there we are. Turn the idle up a little. I still have the choke on. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think this is a healthy motor. We got to go through the rest of it, see what kind of shape it's in. Front end's not great, it's not horrible. What these things are known for, by the way, is the bearings go bad in the back, and then the back starts swimming around. And once you have that, it's very easy to, yeah, this is shot. So the rear bearings are shot. Yeah, once they start swimming around, you have a tendency to throw the chain. And once you throw the chain, you have a tendency to damage the case. And normally, these rear ends are a real bear to get out of here. And the reason why, you see this bolt here, the one I'm touching, and it's the one below it, a lot of times you get moisture in that drum and the bolts go in a little too far, then it rusts there. And you can't get the bolts out, then they break off. This one's also a bear to take apart to change the bearings. Normally it's a bit of a fight. So when I get these, normally there are two things wrong with them. First of all, they already threw the chain, damaged the case, and the rear bearings are completely shot. So that appears to be the case with this. You may ask, why do I like the TRX200 SX? It's pretty quick, it's pretty maneuverable, it's pretty strong. Once again, not a 100 for any of those things. The blaster was faster, a lot quicker too, much faster, much quicker out of the gate, so to speak. But for just a nice bike that was kind of pretty good at everything, maneuverable. If you got stuck, you were able to pick it up and move it out. It was easy to drag out of mud bogs because it's light. It had a lot of pluses, and the minuses, as they were trying to get lightweight, they got a little cheap with the real bearings and a little cheap with the swing arm bearings, and those two things makes it so that you end up chucking a chain, and from there things go downhill very quickly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to get to more of this stuff, figure out its current state, and then try to figure out what to do with it. This thing runs nice. By the way, I use the premix non-ethanol 40-to-1 chainsaw stuff. It's expensive, $7-8 for a quart. But the nice thing about it is I find that even though I run this carburetor out of fuel, the carburetors don't tend to rot out or get that fuzzy white stuff on the bottom of them. When I use that, they seem to hold up a little better. And when you're doing just a cold start, you really want that, right? You don't want the carburetor to go nasty before you get back to the bike. Anyhow, yeah, I'm just kind of looking at this thing as I'm talking. I have a set of 125 plastic, but I really need to put a few minutes into that back axle and all, see what kind of shape we're in. Maybe you order up a set of bearings, a set of swing arm bearings, and maybe we'll do that next. It really doesn't pay to put a chain on it and attempt to ride it now, because if it chucks the chain, I'll destroy the case, and I'd rather not do that. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember, feet down, heads up, and make sure you get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.